sing. No, it's not a dream.
Hello, everyone. This is the King Cast, maybe soon to name change of name. But I just want to give everybody a little history on how and why we've come to this place, why we're doing it. It's going to be a family podcast, and we have different generations. I am going to be representing the baby boomers. My son is going to be representing. Go ahead, son. Who are you representing?
I'm representing all the millennials out there.
And my G son, who you representing?
Gen X, right?
Gen Z.
Oh yeah, Gen Z.
Oh,
I don't know them.
He don't know,
I really
but
don't
he,
care.
yeah.
Like, you know. I mean, what I like. I know.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
it is.
Because we Gen Beta, Gen Alpha. You know. Like.
Well, our focus is on because as a family we get together on birthdays, holidays, and whatever. We have some of the most interesting conversations. I mean, we talk about everything. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So I just had a thought. I said, why don't we just put something out there to let the world see how, as a Black family, how we deal with issues, some serious, some not, hilarious, comedy, music. We are a musical bunch. So today we're going to focus on, and this was my idea. I don't know how they feel, but they're going to give you their feelings on this situation. From 2020, we had a lot of issues that took place in our country, and it affected us all generationally different, personally, and just vast issues. For me, I'm a Christian, and everything that I base what I do in life is because of that. My love for Christ, my love for God, my love for people. In 2020, there was such a great change. I mean, when I think about it, 5 years ago. I can't believe it's been that long. But with COVID, which was historical, if you told me I would have lived in a time where we had to wear masks and we couldn't go out publicly and all this, I'd have said, you're crazy. No such thing. With the public murder of George Floyd and that influence on everybody. With the, what do they call that? The insurrection on January 20th. The whole political scheme, just crazy. And I'm going to start with this. I know our pastor, by that time we were having the services streamed. Nobody was there.
Virtual services.
Virtual, exactly. So even our Bible classes were like that. And so I remember he gave a request to the church. He said, I'm asking if everyone could please pray for the civil unrest that we had due to the murder of George Floyd. The COVID issue, people were just dying. And when I think about it now, the people that I personally know that are no longer with us because of COVID is just crazy. And I took it so serious because I was so hurt and I just didn't have words. So I remember when I was praying and God put it on my heart. And the reason I'm saying it like that is because the church, for me, I believe that a lot of things, they say USA is, they say a God-fearing country or whatever.
They say it's a Christian.
Yeah, Christian, yeah. But when I look back at history, because I'm a Black woman, we're a Black family, some of the things that have happened to us is just outrageous. But I thank God that I can look at people of all races, and I'm so thankful my parents did not bring us up saying, down with the white people, up with, I didn't hear that. But I'm a realist. I saw things that happened to me personally on my job, and I never thought this would have happened. I think it probably was enacted before 2020, but it came to be a big thing after the George Floyd issue and so many other things. They had a DEI program and they opened up a new office where I used to work, UTA. And I had the pleasure of serving as the coordinator in my department. So before that, we started attending classes, and I took a course many years ago on campus, and it was about diversity. And I remember saying to the people at that time, I said, this should be mandatory for every department because it's just necessary. The people that I work with, I spend more time with them than I do my own family because when I come home, it's just a few hours. We go to bed and get up and we do it all over. Mm-hmm. So technically, that's my family away from home. So we build relationships. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're like, eh. But because I love people and my job, I deal with HR, I worked with people from all over the world. And so I always found myself hearing people talk about their lives and how different it was from mine. And this one thing stands out for me. I had an office and it was, most of them were women. I mean, we would talk so graphically about, most of it was black and white, I'm going to be honest. But there were other nationalities and whatever. But the big divide was always the black and white. And some of the things that they would say, I said, you could ask me anything, you know. And this one thing is kind of silly. This one young lady, I'll never forget. She said, I just have a question. Why do black people put a wing in their mouth and they pull it out and it's clean?
Oh, my
I mean, is that crazy?
Yo.
I know. And
I did not expect for that to go there.
But you see how wild?
I don't think I could say what I want to say, but you know.
And I was like, I said, oh, and I laughed. I'm honest. I just had to laugh. She said, because, and she said, this is the way we eat. I said, you don't have to tell me. I'll be looking at all that meat y'all be leaving on that wing. I don't know what the problem is. I said, I love wing. I said, but I don't do that. I said, y'all should see my husband. That man can clean some bones. Jay know. But anyway, just see. Anyway, we gonna keep this clean. But getting back to the 2020 issue and how that changed me, I'm getting back to when I prayed and what I did. I took it upon myself. I got out of my comfort zone. I prayed. I said, because I want to affect what's going on in our country from the aspect of a Christian and talking out and reaching the church, the black church, the white church, which I hate because God has a church. We have black and white churches. Mm-hmm. So what I did, I said, I'm going to find 6 black churches, 6 white churches. And I wrote this letter, and it was to the pastor. And because of where we were and how things were, it was actually addressed to the white churches, pastor, asking them to reach out to the black pastor and have a conversation, because that's where the problem is. Mm-hmm. I got that because I saw a show on, I think it was Daystar. I can't remember, and I probably shouldn't call names. A pastor who was having, it was virtual. He was in the studio, and they were showing on the big screen where there were like, I'm going to say maybe 6 to 9 pastors, white pastors. Mm-hmm. And with the issue that was going on with the George Floyd issue, if black people, and it's one thing for us to stand up for when we say it's not right or whatever. But if it's truly not right, and if God says it's not right, what's wrong with our white brothers? We need, and sisters, we need you to come and join us and say, yes, this is not right. Yeah. And so as he was talking to them, it got so embarrassing to me. And he told them, he said, guys, when I reached out to y'all, you weren't there. He said, it was like silence. And even when he made that statement, They're all sitting there like,
So this was wait a minute. This was the black pastor telling that to the white pastor.
Yes. He put him on blast, which I thought was awesome. It needed to be, he said what needed to be said. And so when they made their responses, they were like, they said, you're right. The black pastor said, it's one thing to get on the TV and say this. He said, but what do you tell your congregation when there's nobody there but you all?
Right.
Do you tell them that that's unacceptable? And that's, to me, that's where the issue is. But I want to get back to my letter. Jay, I don't know if you remember when I
I remember you let me.
I didn't let anyone read it except Jay.
Yeah.
Now the 6 black pastors of the 6, 3 of them I knew personally. The others I didn't.
Yeah.
One of them was my pastor. Kudos to you, Pastor James.
Shout out to Transparent Church, Grand Prairie, Texas.
He responded to me. He said, Sister Crim, I got your letter. He said, if that pastor doesn't reach out to me, I'm going to reach out to him. Because there needs to be a conversation. Why is, this is 2025, why is 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whichever you want to choose, still the most segregated time in the USA? You go to your church, you go to your church.
Yep.
But we serve the same God.
That's a good point.
I don't know. And it wasn't for any of the pastors to respond back to me. That's not what I was looking for.
Right.
It was just for them to come together because in my years of working, when I worked for the Air Force, here when I worked at UTA, I would bring up conversations like this. Didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to know. I want to know, why is it we can't get across this dividing line of racial issues?
So I got a question to the letter.
Yeah.
Because it was about the pastors, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but the pastors, they're the leaders. They should take the first step.
Mm-hmm.
But the church as well. Like, you wrote the letter to the pastors, but essentially everybody could have been a part of that. Like, even the members of the churches. How often do we invite people of a different ethnic background to our churches?
I do. I mean, I can't.
I'm
just
talking about in general. Like,
mm-hmm.
how often do we go to other people and say, "Hey, like, come to my church"? Usually, if you're in a neighborhood or a city where it's predominantly black or predominantly white, the chances of you asking someone of a different race to come to your church is slim to none. Mm-hmm. So if you're living in a predominantly white neighborhood or predominantly black neighborhood, you running into people of your own race all the time. Those are the ones that you're reaching out. You kind of almost have to go outside of your comfort zone to do this. And for the pastors, I definitely think that was outside of their comfort zone. I mean, we talk about like the pastors and what the church should do, but I think even as a people, like, we still divided in everyday life.
Yeah.
We don't come together purposefully to really do a lot of things. If somebody, for example, you worked at UTA, she's not retired. She doesn't work anymore. So she's Tommy now. Y'all can call her Tommy.
No job.
She got no job. So, but that being said, like, when you if you don't have like something involved in work where you're gonna see the people outside of work, then you really don't get a chance to fellowship with people at and see how they operate and how they worship, because let's be honest, we worship at the church because we like how it flows. If we go to somebody else's church, we may not feel it like they do, or may not feel as comfortable in the way that they worship. So I think that plays a part in why.
That's true, but sometimes I think that I honestly believe, and I can't, and if I'm wrong, it's not because I want to be. I believe it was set like that by design because the church was probably set up to keep the races, and I've heard ministers actually say this. It's in and I haven't seen this in the Bible. God didn't want any mixing of the races. I just, I'm sorry. I don't see that.
People pick and
He
choose
don't
certain
want
scriptures
humans
give that
mixing with
justification.
other he don't want me marrying a pig, okay?
People have done that.
True. That's actually true.
They have married their animals.
Whatever.
Unfortunately.
God help them. What I'm saying is people are people. We come in all colors. I don't believe anyone can show me in the Bible where it says God does not want your color marrying this color.
No, I don't agree with that.
I think
that's not.
I believe that's why the separation came. That's why it's still here. I hear some white ministers who say, I can't encourage the black and the white races and look these scriptures in the Bible. And I'm like, well, what scriptures?
No, he said, look these quote. He said he didn't even use the Bible.
Well,
he said, look the quotes.
I'm sure that's what he was referring to, even though he didn't say that. But I want to know, and I want to know, can we have a sit-down conversation for you to say why?
So you think the issue with the country lies within the church?
It starts there. Because if the church is supposed to represent what is right, what is godly, we should set the example. But no, we are the example of just what is opposite.
So you said we kind of go along with the flow. Like what society has
we have created.
Set up, we have kind of, we should create what society does, but that's been taken, and now we kind of just conform to what society
and I'm
is.
not going to get into the history, the things that some of the ministers have actually went and discovered how and why, and it's just so disgusting to me. He didn't discover America, Christopher Columbus. I mean, and when my understanding of how he got the blessing to come and do what he did, I'm like, wow. Yeah. So
let me know something. I don't know too much about that. I know the tip of the iceberg. I know he didn't really discover America. That's all I know, though.
Well,
I thought there was more to it.
There's a lot to it. That's why I'm saying I don't want to carry it that way. But when I'm going to just say this one part. When he went to get he came and he saw it. He went back to the Vatican, whatever, to preach, to get the blessing. And he was told that if you go back to the land, if the people there are not Christian, blah, 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 you have the right to take the land.
Conquer them.
To conquer. So I was like, here I go, WWJD. What would Jesus do? Mm-hmm. I like that quote, but I like what I say better. Sometimes we don't know what Jesus would do, but I know what he wouldn't do.
That's a bar.
Would not do that. So I think some people who say, well, this is what the Bible said, this is what, then I want to say, okay, can you break it down and tell me if Jesus was here, how he would handle this situation?
Yeah, most of them can't.
I know. They don't want, see that, there's a conversation that should be had, period. And it hasn't been. So I'm thinking that our world, and so we who say we know Christ, the Bible tells us that we should humble ourselves and pray, seek his face and turn from our wicked ways. Yeah. And I know a lot of people don't see that as a wicked way, but it is. Thinking that one race is better than the other or that we should remain divided, that's a wicked way. That's not how God sees us. If we're all his children, he wants the best for all of us.
Yeah.
Period.
So I got a question. Do you think that as far as like 2020, going back to 2020, do you think that the country was more about COVID or more about George Floyd?
It was a combination. It is so funny. It was very mixed. Pac, I can't remember, what were you? How old were you? 2020.
Yeah, talking to the mic because we can't
15.
hear what you're saying.
Oh, see, he was still young.
Yeah.
But there were so many young people that got so involved in that issue. And so I guess when I go back and they play, it was on TV constantly. As a mother of black sons, and just hearing him call out for his mother.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but to me, it shouldn't matter that he was black. He was a man.
Yeah.
And that, to me, I saw that response from around the world. Oh my God, other countries, they came together. But we have to be realistic. George Floyd wasn't the first person that died. Like
Not at
that.
all.
No.
And
No.
guess what? It still happened.
Yeah.
Of course.
It
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
happened.
I think what kind of shook the world was the fact that
It was on camera.
it was on camera,
Yeah.
and he was
Yeah.
in a position of like the guy had his knee on his neck,
Yes.
Mhm.
and he was wide awake, and he slipped away from us,
Yeah.
and that was caught on camera with people telling him, "Yo, he not moving, he can't breathe. Y'all just put him in cuffs, take him away. Why y'all doing?" And that's what kind of shook people. If you go back to the 1900, go back to the year 1900, something like that could have happened. It would have never even made the newspaper.
They
It would have been
care.
circulating amongst the black community,
Yeah.
and you know, so and so, yeah, we heard, and that's it.
Mhm.
You go fast forward to the 60s to where the March on Selma, when those people got beat,
The revolution will be
and
televised.
then it was like, oh man, then it became instant where people saw it and it affected them. Then everybody joined in.
Mhm.
Now you fast forward to 2020, and it's weird because it's like 60-year gaps, and then you see something like that, and it's like it became real to those who. But for us, this we used to this. It's not like it affects us. You know what I'm saying? Because we saw it in live time, but it affected everybody.
Yes.
It affected every
Yeah.
community all around the world. They were
Mhm.
had George Floyd murals up everywhere,
Yeah.
and everybody a unified march.
Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of Houston, like next to Frenchie's, the apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of George Floyd murals. Just you could drive around Third Ward and see a whole bunch of them. Martin Luther King ones. They pro-black down there. Like,
Yeah. I mean, anywhere where where it's predominantly black in the neighborhoods, like we gonna represent ourselves. the thing what George Floyd did was he put it in the living rooms of those who don't go to those areas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those who wouldn't necessarily be in Third Ward, Houston, or they don't go to Oak Cliff, you know, or the east side of Arlington. Shout out east side. You know what I'm saying? But it's when you don't go to these areas, then you may not see, you know, and get the experience what we do. It gave everybody that experience.
Yes. But what's so sad is that when the news covers certain things, it's skewed.
Even the news.
Right. And we don't want to be just beat on the issue of that because so many things that as we said was COVID and insurrection. Oh my God, which I cannot for the life of me understand how somebody could look at that and say they were peaceful protesters.
I don't know about who says they were peaceful. Yeah. Well,
And everybody that was in that.
shout out.
No.
Shout out to my president,
Actually, you know what?
President Trump.
You know what?
Uncle
when
Donald.
I heard when I heard I can't remember if he was a senator, congressman, whatever. He said, if it had been Black Lives Matter, I would have been
Shocked.
afraid.
They would have
He
first.
would've been
He wouldn't have been
afraid.
afraid because they wouldn't have gotten in the building.
True. But his point was these were peaceful. I understand their anger. They were just upset because the election was stolen. And
You know what's crazy?
Even if you agree, even if you thought the election was stolen,
Yeah.
how can you say what happened? You're okay with that. Because
Well,
they were
honestly-
white, because the protesters were white. So if it was Black Lives Matter people, I don't understand.
The issue is when Trump was giving his speech
Mhm.
and Rudy Giuliani, all those guys were talking. They left from there, walked down to the White House. There was no, if it had been reversed, I don't know if Pac wasn't born. I don't know if even, I don't know how many of us, because I was young, the Million Man March. If we go back to the Million Man March, there was military in case of something happened. Just in case, we got 1 million black people here. Just in case something happens, we ready. And there was no response. They were able to get inside. They were prepared to handcuff people, possibly kill people. Like, they went in there with bad intentions, and there was little resistance from that. Now they had to go back and watch film to put people, and that, to me, that's just crazy. But that's the climate of the country, and every last one of them got pardoned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just don't understand how we, as black people in this country, have marched and have protested peacefully and have violence done to us. Then when violence is done back to America by them, there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing. You talking about the Washington, D.C.?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Capitol?
Mm-hmm.
People just walking. That's
No, they're not
mind.
walking
They didn't
in.
walk
They're
in.
jumping
They
over
Jumping
the
on
fence.
climbing walls. I saw
come on.
Spider-Man, Batman. I think I saw
Spider-Man.
Like, I just could not believe what was happening.
These were the people who say they support the police officers and law and order. And I was like,
They watch too much Law and Order.
there was so much unlawful disorder in that whole incident. But what?
So if you had to rank COVID, George Floyd, the insurrection, which incident changed the climate the most?
The
All
most?
three.
The most.
All three.
You have to rank them.
But you got to think.
Rank them.
Look, you got to think. Because COVID happened March, right?
The shutdown happened in
The
March.
shutdown.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You got it. The George Floyd happened
May.
It was May?
Yeah.
Okay, May.
Insurrection was in
That
January.
next year, the next
January.
Was it the next
Yeah.
year? Okay, it was the next year in January. So it's all different time periods, but they all had a significant
impact.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can rank them because honestly, I would say it's about even because
Yeah.
And I would put Kobe Bryant's death in there too.
hey, 5 years just passed January 26th.
R.I.P. Kobe.
Rip Black Mamba, my goat.
My goat.
But anyway, the Kobe's nobody. It didn't have as big as an
it did
impact.
affect many
Unfortunately, but
I cried for Kobe.
Yeah.
I didn't cry for the insurrection.
my heart was hurt for Kobe. I'm not.
I didn't cry for
Wait,
George
wait, wait.
Floyd.
I got that call.
We
I was
were
upset.
sitting in
Walk on.
walk on, all the TVs, and I'm looking, and I think I heard Jay didn't hear it first. I think I heard, and everybody was like, "No, this ain't real." They said Kobe dead. I said, "They
I
said
remember.
Kobe
Oh my
dead." Were you
gosh.
with us back?
No, I wasn't. I was at the house. He called me. He was like, "Hey, you hear about Kobe?" I was like, "What?"
It was
What you talking about?
it was just like surreal, and the somber. It was the settling.
Yeah,
Over the
whole restaurant. It was just quiet.
Everybody was just.
And everybody
Even
was
if
just
you
glued to the
weren't a
TV.
Kobe fan, even if you weren't a basketball fan,
Yeah.
it was just. I was like, oh my god.
Because you know what's crazy? Before you called me, I was on Instagram. Ain't see nothing.
Right.
You called me. Still
Then-
ain't seen
then that's
nothing.
when it's stuff-
Nah, I had to search, go on Google, Kobe, bro. And then all the articles, everything just. And then I refresh Instagram. All the
Everything,
yes. Twitter, same thing. Dang.
Yeah, that was kind of the same effect with George Floyd because everybody was like, no,
Yeah.
that
You
man
think so?
didn't do that.
I feel like.
Because we heard about it, and then when we cut the TV on, then it was like,
Oh, okay. All right.
what? And then they started showing it, and every channel, CNN, Fox News, it was just you just couldn't get away from it.
Insurrection, but it kind of reminds me. I can't remember what that was. Where was it? Charlottesville, wherever.
On the Charlottesville,
And our president at that time said, "There are good people
on both sides. Yeah.
I want to say, well, if there are good people on both sides, then there are bad people on both sides.
Indeed.
Well, maybe Trump is a glass half full type of guy.
Did you believe the words that came out your mouth just now?
No,
Did you vote for Trump?
No, I didn't vote. I'm sorry. I didn't
That's
vote.
crazy.
When I tried to sign up, they were like, "Oh, the deadline passed." I'm like, "Dang, better luck next time." You know what? I think it was November. It might have been 2 weeks before the election.
I just want to say that it's sad to me. I mean, I know, and see, here we go. The great divide generationally. I grew up in a time, the baby boomers. You know what? When I think about it now, I was 6 years old, and now that's switched.
What year was that?
That's crazy. You ain't got to answer
I
that.
am not ashamed of how old I am.
I know that answer.
When was I born?
1959.
Yes, sir. Woo. And you know what? Shout out to people born in the 50s. Great time. I barely made it. 59. Exactly. I
He was
love
40
it.
going into the 2000s. That's
love
crazy.
That's
we
wild.
just got, the civil rights.
She didn't hear me.
No, I'm ignoring you.
Oh, that's funny.
We just got the right to vote, and I was so young, and see, it takes me back certain things that stand out because I remember when Kennedy. No, y'all don't know that. I was 3 or 4. I can remember because y'all know there was no social media. All we had was the little black and white TV.
13-inch.
I remember my mother.
It was a box, right?
Sitting in front of the TV, and because I'm a kid.
Where?
There's a casket with a flag, and she was on the phone. Seemed like all day, and I was like, "Why is mom?" And then me and Kat tearing up the house and doing whatever. She on the phone, and she just disbelief. And then the next time it happened was when Martin Luther King was killed. I was older then, and kind of.
Martin Luther King died at 68, so you were about 8 or 9. Did y'all feel that young? Like, did you realize really what had happened?
You know why it was so funny? Because for one, he was black. That it was different because he was black, and then he just happened to have our last name.
Because we're all related and we all look alike.
Anywho, yes, it affected us differently. And when I think about history, how it has really, really changed over these last 40, 50 years. But then we come right back, nothing has changed. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Right. It's just a never-ending cycle. But I believe individually, which is why I took the step that I took when I reached out to all of those churches and said, okay, we need to have conversation and start change. It's one thing to get on TV saying we're just praying for our black brothers, which brings me to another. This year, I don't know if I should do this or not.
Come on with it. Don't be scared. We didn't get over here to be scared.
There's a pastor that rebuked the black church for voting for Kamala Harris. He said, somebody needs to talk to the black church.
Yeah, say names. Names.
So my thing was, so if you vote, and this is another thing, don't tell me that if I don't vote Republican, that I'm not saved, that I don't love God, that I'm not a Christian, that I'm not going to see Jesus' face in peace. Don't tell me that. If you can vote for someone to me like Trump, and
they say Trump is a Christian.
Yeah,
well, who said that?
I think
is a man of God.
No,
Who said that?
That's been debunked.
Did he pray and speak in tongues?
No, Trump.
Hold on.
No. Trump said that he didn't ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
So that's
true.
one of the prerequisites for being a Christian. He said, I haven't done anything
I didn't do nothing wrong, so why did I ask for forgiveness?
So then they kind of flipped the script and said, well, we don't care what he is. But back in the day, Mr. Clinton was the epitome of everything ungodly.
He was just freaky.
And it was a
and he was
freaky.
Yeah, that's
well. They really pushed the issue
crazy.
of good, clean living, moral, upstanding, blah blah blah. And to me, Mr. Trump just has none of that.
But do you think that is that a requirement to be president?
To what?
To be morally?
No, it's not a requirement.
It's not.
No, but
I think sometimes that's what the ones that I've talked to about Trump, they would say, well, it's not about what he does; it's about what he says and what he stands for.
Oh no, he don't.
So, for example, abortions. He say, "Oh, we shouldn't have no abortions," even though he himself may participate in an abortion.
I'm sure he's paid for
the party he represents stands for no abortion. Even with let's talk about how he made that there's only 2 genders now. Some people, the church looking at him like, hey, good job, bro. He's against gay lifestyle, the LGBTQ plus community. He don't really rock with them. So the church they feel like, even though he himself may have had some exploitations with, I don't know.
Hey, you can't say that, cuz.
I don't know. We don't know.
No,
We don't know.
Can't say that, bro.
Milani not treating him right. This might be.
So the only thing is, how can I say it? There are some things that the Democratic Party stand for that I disagree. There are some things that the Republican Party stands for that I disagree. Very conservative in certain areas in my life, in my mind. I mean, why would I say that I agree with this? Either I think it's right or I think it's wrong. You can't straddle the fence, in other words. But the people are trying to bring it to a place where your who and your do don't have to meet. So our president can be, I like the way they say it on The View, a 34
felon.
Convicted felon. Everybody who says they can't get a job because I've got a felony, they should scratch that off.
They should not be. Because
how
can you be president?
It should not be a requirement. Exactly. If you can be a convicted felon and run the country, you should be able to have any other job. I'm sorry. I don't care what kind of job it is. If that, to me, that's worth going to court and fighting over. That's me.
I don't know. I agree with that. I just don't think. I'm really interested to see how many people, other than Trump, would have had a felony and become president.
Yeah, I don't think any.
I'm looking at all the other presidents. I don't know who America votes for and gets behind and says, "Oh, we're going to look past that." And go ahead and let you. I mean, he had what? Fraud. He had tax evasion. He had sexual, like all kind of things that you can think of, like the worst person in the world. And he became president again. So I try to put this in people's mind. Like the first time he became president, it was okay. Like, hey, when I say okay, I mean he didn't know. He wasn't a politician. He didn't really, is it Trump the businessman? Okay, whatever. We just gonna take whatever. Now he kind of knows what his power is. Now he kind of knows what he can do. And now he's like, well, yeah,
he knew that. I mean, he said back then that he could go and kill somebody, and
yeah. I mean, so I mean, that's so. My point is that, you know, the Republicans, they're blind. The ones that voted, because there are some Republicans that just like, nah, I ain't voting for him. But the ones that the Trump supporters, they're like blind. It's literally like scales on their eyes because they just. Whatever he says is golden. And when you try to refute, like, well, he said this, but did this. Oh, well, that was because it's never no accountability. Like, yeah, well, you know what? He did drop the ball on that. Like, well, he didn't do. I can tell, like, when Obama became president, black people, we thought, oh, shoot, my president black. Well, we about to, and when it didn't happen, I was like, hey, he didn't. Barack Obama, he was the president for America, not black people. Mm. He was the president for the United States of America. Mm. And so, yeah, we could have hoped to have him do these things for us, but he's the president of America. And what America is what America has been and what it's going to be. We just, as black people, we have found a way to kind of overcome. We shall overcome, like, the circumstances, and we fight. We just keep pressing. We press a little bit, they give a little bit. We press a little bit, we give a little bit. So I mean,
but I want to say this, and because I honestly believe this. Everybody says, well, they just overlook what Trump does. You know what I honestly think? I think most of the people who are Trumpers feel the way he does.
Yikes! That's even more scary.
Exactly. And I'm like. Because sometimes when things are on YouTube or something, I look it up and I start reading the comments. I was like, wow, people really, he gave people that what they needed to feel emboldened to say things and do things. I was like, this is how people really feel. So I don't look now at him like, oh, you're evil, you're causing people. No, you're just letting people who felt that way all along. Yeah, he's just their puppet.
Pac, are you interested in politics?
No, not at all. Not one bit.
So you wouldn't be interested. Well, hold on, wait. What are you going to school for?
to be a lawyer.
Okay, what school do you go to?
Texas Southern University.
Okay,
Texas Southern University.
I want him to share because we've taken up monopolized the time.
Yeah, a lot.
He was, excuse me,
I'm just saying.
I know. He was a student at UNT.
University of North Texas. Denton, not Dallas.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to
Gotta,
put that distinction. It is.
Yeah.
It is. And so you want to share what happened that kind of gave you, because you know what people don't understand. Pac is a young black man, but he brings something a little different to this table. He is
A little different in the
African,
family, actually.
and half American.
Be for real.
So his experience is a little different than everybody else. All of us who grew up here in America, even though he grew up here in America, but he has the influence of having an African parent who is not like ours. So I just wanted you to share a little bit on how it affected you and your mindset and how you ended up at
do your introduction, bro.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself to the people, man.
You know who it is? Lil in the building, Lil in the cut, Hoodie Lil, you know what I'm saying?
No, they don't know who you are.
They just found out who I am. Hoodie Lil, you know who it is. You know who it is now. I just told you. Lil, in the cut, in the building, in the house, in the podcast. Anyway, yes, being from, I'm from here, but my mom being from Zimbabwe, I don't know, I wouldn't say she's not like a typical African that you would think. I would say since, Zimbabwe was really colonized by the British, that's what when I went to London, I didn't feel like I was at a place for real. Like,
wow.
it felt like, oh, okay.
Like home.
Not home. This guy. Not home, but it was just like
21
it just felt like another America, really. That's all it felt like. Just like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Everything cool,
Well, British, I would think. London, I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But, it didn't feel different. But my mom not typical African, so when I went there, I see, they drink tea with things, you know what I'm saying? My mom, avid tea drinker, He knows.
Not too much.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know, but not too much.
Anyway. The beans and toast and eggs, people think that's crazy. I've lived that. It's not crazy to me.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That is
It's
wild.
not crazy to me. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Quick funny story before you finish.
Oh my God.
When Pac was a baby,
yep.
the first time I went, we brought him to his grandparents' house. His granddad, that's my guy, Ramis Musasa. Shout out to the Musasas.
Hey, shout out my grandpa
That's my
for
dog.
real.
He was so excited to see Pac, and he had to show his appreciation to me by making me breakfast. And he brought baked beans and eggs and toast, and I was like, I just looked at.
Don't sleep though. It's actually good.
I looked at his mom and I was like, and she was like, "What? That's what we eat." I'm like, we eat pancakes and bacon and eggs and French toast.
The British
and
don't do
hash
that.
browns.
They don't do that. I went there.
Bro.
They don't do that. We went to the restaurants. They got
that is not a
they
thing.
got blood pudding. They
Yeah.
got, which is
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is. It's just a break of no. They do
That's
tomatoes,
crazy.
Yeah.
It's
But when you say baked bean,
they eat bacon. They eat bacon. Bacon is very
You know what? And
Sausage,
I think he did have bacon.
yeah.
I think I did have bacon.
They love bacon over there. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
essential. That's
Yeah.
essential.
Yes.
baked beans.
Baked beans.
Bushes.
Oh.
Not bushes. It's in a blue. Heinz. That's what it is. Heinz. Heinz
Okay.
baked beans.
Interesting.
Yeah, but you can continue your story.
But so seeing that, it just
But how did with you and your mom, because you kind of you spent a lot of time when you was at school with us, but there were time when you was with her. How did she respond to the George Floyd thing and the insurrection and COVID? Well, I know how she responded to COVID. Scaredy cat.
nah, for real. But
But
she's not into those things. She didn't. It wasn't anything.
she didn't share with you.
Nah. It was
Oh.
just, it's sad this is happening, but she gonna read her Bible and she gonna continue living. That's what she gonna do. And nothing in this world.
She really don't be outside like
exactly,
that.
Nothing in this world is gonna push her out she gonna do what she need to do.
Yeah,
She gonna
but-
get her Bible. She gonna, Nothing bothered her.
You mean the George Floyd? She didn't have anything because a lot of black women who had black sons, their mind went to that could have been my son.
You know, I never asked her. Like, because I was 15, I was like, dang, that's sad. You know, I'm glad it wasn't me. That was my thought process, you know? I didn't ask her how she felt, you know? It was just.
Well, I know it was some fear because I don't know if she told you, but she had got an email from Pack School. And I don't know if it was a hoax, but somebody wrote to the school or the area, Keller, Watauga, Roanoke, all that up there. And these guys were saying if there's any black kids walking around after a certain time, we're gonna hang them, we're gonna kill them.
I didn't hear about that.
We looking out for that. So they actually sent the email to the school, or the school sent your mama email. She sent it to me, and she was like, "You need to come and get him. He needs to come and stay with you for a while because I don't want." She didn't want you to be like asking to go to Jonah's and be caught in the. So
see, I didn't know any of that.
Maybe she didn't want to tell you.
But like, you know, people on Snapchat will post that, be like, "Oh, this was sent to me." Da da da. It happened not quite a bit, but it happened a couple of times. I'm just like,
right.
In Keller, you know.
Yeah, but I think your mom took it serious because of school.
Yeah.
So it definitely affected her because she didn't know
exactly.
You know,
see, I didn't know that.
Capable of.
So I haven't talked to her about how she felt in situations like that. You know.
Yeah.
And also comes with me just, you know, beginning to come into an adult where I can ask those questions. Because at 15, I wasn't thinking of that. You know.
How did your school handle it? Like the kids at school, like you went to a predominantly white school. How did they act about George Floyd?
You have your few that, you know, that
sympathize.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they're gonna post on their story, they're gonna post on Instagram. You have the few that go hard, like really hard. You would think they was half black, you know what I'm saying? Which I appreciate. But then you just have the other ones who are ignorant, you know, they don't say nothing, or they say something to get under your skin. You know, there's always those couple few, but it was to see everybody come together. I remember after the George Floyd thing, they did have a little walk thing. I forgot what they called it. March, I guess. But they walked from like Bear Creek to City Hall. Mm-hmm. They walked to there. I didn't get to go because I was staying with you, but you know,
that was like a half-mile walk.
It wasn't that long, but I mean, it was the turnout was crazy.
We gotta give them 50 steps.
Support.
Yeah, the turnout, the support. It was a lot of people. Like it was great to see. Jonah was there, Kobe, a couple of my friends from school. Yeah, everybody. It was the turnout was great. You know, so seeing that, it made me like, oh, okay, put faith in Keller. You know, because the whole time I'm there, I was like, yeah, I hate this place. I'm not there to be friends with these guys. I'm here to just graduate and I'm finna get up out of here. But
is that what kind of sparked you to want to go to HBCU? Like, what really make you want to go to? Because
being at Kelly,
being a father and knowing how America is, UNT was the move.
But see, that wasn't my first choice. I was forced to go there. Y'all forced me.
I know.
So it wasn't.
No. I'm sorry. He wasn't forced.
No,
he wasn't forced, America. This is what happened.
No, forced.
He sent the papers to TSU, the email, and was waiting for an acceptance letter, which he never got.
Because I didn't have things.
Because
to send,
it's a HBCU. And we got to do better. Like when it comes to stuff like that, like we got to do better. There is a thing about when we run something, how we run our businesses, how we conduct ourselves outside. And there's something about black people that's like we don't operate in excellence. And that's what we gotta start doing that. And because America views us as that way, that was the reason why I was just saying, hey, you might want to stay at UNT. Because it's a level of excellence that when you go out and they say, where did you go to school? You say, oh, I went to University of North Texas. They're like, oh, okay, cool. When you say Texas State University, where is that? Houston.
Yeah, so
is that an HBCU?
If you're going to say Texas State,
oh, okay.
Texas State for Negroes.
I'm sorry, not Texas State.
I'm just
Texas
saying, if you're going to say Texas State for Negroes, as it's still
Texas
on there on
Southern.
Apple Maps. It's still Texas State for Negroes. I mean, they have Texas Southern and they have Texas State for Negroes. Same place. Just different names.
Yeah. So Texas Southern.
OMG.
If when you say that, then instantly in their mind okay, and then they put your application in another pot. They don't throw it away because if you go to certain school, or didn't go to school, they just throw your application away. They put you in another pile. And so that's what I didn't want you to have to experience. But, there have been many, many excellent black people come through Texas Southern.
Michael Strahan, Yolanda Adams.
Exactly.
Name them.
Mickey Leland.
What was the law school that's down there?
Thurgood Marshall.
I said Wilbur Marshall.
Thurgood Marshall School of Law.
Thurgood Marshall.
One of the top in the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, there are good things, so that's what I want you to kind of get to there is the black excellence. What could be the potential to be there. I want you to represent that, So so like hearing me say what I want, are you getting the black excellence experience? Are you participating? Or are you the slacker that stays at home and plays video
say
games?
a slacker and then say an excellent like I didn't just make the dean's list. Like
my dog.
Dean's list.
My dog.
What is he talking about? That's slacker.
Yeah, that's me. That's me right there.
Anyway,
Come on with it.
I do be at the crib a lot. That is true. But you can't say slacker and I make the dean's list. I'm sorry. That's not. You can't put those two together. Okay,
that's
you
what
can say that. You can say that.
Well, I don't mind that.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm fine with being a house body. Like it's cool.
Nothing wrong with it.
Like if you know my mom,
that's true.
Hey, I'm her son.
That
She at the crib.
true.
I'm at the crib. In the beginning when I first got there, I can say I was going to a lot of events, trying to see what I could put myself into. But Houston just froze over, so a lot of the events they had to push back.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for those events to pop back up. But I definitely want to be out there. I'm trying to join orgs. You know what I'm saying? I'm in. The African Student Association. I'm in that.
Okay.
I'm gonna look into the NAACP. I want that. Just different orgs. I'm trying to put myself out there, get involved in that community out there.
Yeah. I asked you if you was interested in politics because lawyers are kind of politicians.
Maybe soon, but like as of right now, just
you might change. You might not even want to be a lawyer a year from now, 2 years from now.
Maybe not.
He might.
But I'm still going hard.
I always wanted to be a lawyer.
I mean, Pac. I'm sorry, y'all. His name is Khalil, but I call him Pac. So if you hear us say Pac, this is who we're referring to. Anyway, Pac is like a gifted actor. I don't know where it came from.
Me? Anyway. Really?
It must be a
That's
king
crazy.
thing. It just must be a king
No.
thing.
I have always, and I tell my family, I said, there is a frustrated actress in here.
Tyler
Oh,
Perry.
yeah, there's a
You looking for
frustrated actor inside.
grandma or mom on your
Wow.
Hey, put me in some. You know what I'm saying?
Evenita77@gmail.com. I'm just saying.
It's out there. No, and I think we may end up doing something like that.
That's crazy.
Seriously.
So
I would love to.
we reached about an hour. So let me ask you this. Tell the people what they can expect from the podcast.
Oh my
This
God.
is your vision, so tell them what they can expect from the podcast.
There are many of us.
Many.
So
Many.
and this is so funny because I am a mother, a wife, a sister, a cousin, and it's just
Now,
aunt,
Grandma.
grandmother. So the lines are various, and there are many of us. We're all kind of involved in music in some fashion. There's going to be a set, and to those that know me and my sisters, we are part of a group called Soulful Kingdom. We're quartet singers, and one session is going to be all about quartet. So I say, you quartet us.
Okay.
Tune in.
Starlight Singers.
Not the Starlight Singer.
Previously known as Starlight Singers. Yes. So, but no. We have serious things. Shout out to Kingstone.
Kingstone Studios. Putting it down. Appreciate it.
Them Kang brothers, they're going to be a part. My other son, Lindsay, singer, songwriter. You know what? We were so blessed that we found some of my dad's family here, the King family, And hopefully we can bring, I know Greg is already on point to join us for a session. Maybe eventually we'll bring the others. But there's going to be shows following where you're going to hear perspective of different topics from my sisters, my other son, nephews, cousins, my hubby. No.
Hey,
don't
he's
have
the
to be
king
a
of our
king.
castle.
There you go.
He's the king of our castle.
King of our castle. We love it. This was so much fun. I so enjoyed it. And I feel like I didn't get half of what I wanted to say out, but we don't want to.
That's crazy.
I know.
That's
I know.
really wild.
I know. But
She can talk American.
I really, you
Glad
know.
we didn't do 6:30. He did 6:30. I'm not leaving till 10, bro.
Anywho, it was fun. And there's just, I'll leave the surprises for later on. But this has been fun. Enjoyed it. Please tune in. Tell your friends. Subscribe. Love, love, love.
So we have to say it together. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Okay, y'all ready?
Ready.
Got it?
I'm not saying that. Sorry.
Like, comment, share, subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe.
All right, y'all.
Thank
Y'all
y'all.
go like, comment, share, subscribe.
Love